The Asari were the first species to discover the Citadel. When the Solarians arrived, it was the Asari who proposed the establishment of the Citadel Council to maintain peace throughout the galaxy. Since then, the Asari have served as the mediators and centrists of the Council. The Asari are very different to many other species in the Milky Way Galaxy because they are a monogendered species. There are no male or female Asari, instead they reproduce in an asexual manner. However, in physical form, they do closely resemble female humans. The Asari have a robust cellular regenerative system. Now, while they do not heal faster than other species, they do age at a slower rate, and Asari have been known to reach 1,000 years of age. The Asari reproduce through a form of parthenogenesis. Each Asari can attune her nervous system to that of another individual of any gender and of any species to reproduce. An Asari provides 2 copies of her own genes to her offspring. The second set is altered in a unique process called melding. During melding, an Asari consciously attunes her nervous system to her partner's, sending and receiving electrical impulses directly through the skin. The partner can be another Asari or an alien of either gender. Effectively, the Asari and her partner briefly become one unified nervous system. This unique means of reproduction is the reason Asari are talented biotics. Their evolved ability to consciously control nerve impulses is very similar to biotic training. Asari believe that their offspring acquire the best qualities of the father from the melded genes, although evidence is anecdotal. Still, there is a stigma against Asari who choose to meld with other Asari and the offspring that they produce, who are labelled pureblood. Such couplings are believed to weaken the Asari race as they bring no unique genetic or evolutionary traits to strengthen the Asari as a species. In Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3, we are introduced to the Ardark Yakshi. Now, Ardark Yakshi is a rare genetic condition in Asari, specifically affecting their nervous systems. Now, although the condition does not harm the Asari, during mating, the Ardark Yakshi's nervous system completely overpowers and dominates that of her mates, causing a hemorrhaging in the victim's brain and ultimately death in extreme cases. As a result, the Ardark Yakshi becomes smarter, stronger, and deadlier after each encounter. Now, when diagnosed with this condition, afflicted Asari are given a choice, either to live in isolation or to be executed. The Asari do this to the Ardark Yakshi because it is an addictive condition. They feel compelled to mate, and the compulsion grows stronger each time they succeed. Ardark Yakshi are a disgrace to the Asari culture. It is suspected that this condition is what lies at the root of the Asari prejudice against purebloods. Samara, an Asari Justica and a pureblood herself, states that the condition is as old as the Asari species and that it appears only among purebloods. Asari pass through 3 life stages, marked by biochemical and physiological changes. The maiden stage begins at birth and is marked by the drive to explore and experience. Most young Asari are curious and restless, some even hiring themselves out as mercenaries or exotic dancers in their drive for new experiences. The matron stage of life begins around the age of 350, though it can be triggered earlier if the individual melds frequently enough. This period is marked by a desire to settle in one area and raise children. The matriarch stage begins around 700, or earlier if the individual melds rarely. The matriarchs become active in their community as sages and counselors, dispensing wisdom from centuries of experience. While each stage of life is marked by strong biological tendencies, individuals do make unexpected life choices. For example, there are maidens who stay close to home rather than explore, matrons who would rather work than build a family, and matriarchs who have no interest in community affairs. Because of their long lifespan, Asari tend to have a long view not common in other races. When they encounter a new species or situation, the Asari are more comfortable with an extended period of passive observation and study rather than immediate action. They are unfazed that some of their investments or decisions may not pay off for decades or centuries. Matriarchs can seem to make incomprehensible decisions, but their insight is evident when their careful carefully laid plans come to fruition. In interstellar relations, this long view manifests in an unspoken policy of centrism. The Asari instinctively seek to maintain stable balances of economic, political, and military power. Traditionally, Asari spread their influence through cultural domination and intellectual superiority. They invite new species of advanced development to join the galactic community, knowing that their ideals and beliefs will inevitably influence the existing culture. Let's look at the Asari government. The Asari came late to the concept of world government. For centuries, their homeworld of Thessia was dotted with loose confederacies of great republican cities. The closest earthly equivalent would be the ancient Mediterranean city-states. Since the Asari culture values consensus and accommodation, there was little impetus to form large principalities. Rather than attack one another over differing philosophies, they sought to understand one another. Only in the information age did the city-states grow close. Communication over internet evolved into an electronic democracy. Asari have no politicians or elections, but a freewheeling, all-inclusive legislature that citizens can participate in at will. Policy debates take place at all hours of the day in official chat rooms and forums moderated by specifically programmed virtual intelligences. All aspects of policy are open to plebiscite at any time. In any given debate, the Asari tend to lend the most credence to the opinions of any matriarchs present, nearly always deferring to the experiences of these millennia-old wise women. Achieving consensus through public debate may take too long in a crisis, and in cases where prompt decisive action is required, the Asari defer to the wisdom of the local matriarchs. Let's look at Asari justice, law and order, and specifically the Asari Justicars. Despite the refinement and sophistication of Asari culture, criminality remains a fact of life. The Asari solution to the most vicious and destructive criminal element is the Justicar order. Justicars are an Asari class of virtually untouchable, extrajudicial executioners, operating almost exclusively within Asari territory. In the last decade alone, Justicars have smashed dozens of criminal rings inside Asari territory, operated by Asari and non-Asari alike. Their methods range from subtle where possible to brutal where necessary. Trained for extreme strength, biotic capacity, resourcefulness, athleticism, and ruthlessness, the fanatical Justicars are romanticized and feared throughout Asari society. Although Justicars generally work alone, their effectiveness arises from the huge body of knowledge they can access. Any Asari who enters the ranks of Justicars have already spent centuries in a combination of criminal investigation, military intelligence, and combat experience. The collective body of Justicar knowledge exceeds even that of the Spectres. Justicars tend to be independent, requiring little help but also scorning it, since such advanced skill and experience usually travels with powerful ego. The conflicts presented by such arrogance prompted the Asari order to develop the oath of subsumation. The oaths pledge protection of the innocent, the punishment of the guilty, and defense of common law and the norms of Asari society. The Asari military resembles a collection of tribal warrior bands with no national structure. Each community organizes its own unit as the locals see fit and elect a leader to command them. Units from the populous cities are large and well equipped, while those from the farm villages may be only a few women with small arms. There is no uniform, everyone wears what they like. The Asari military is not an irregular militia, however, those who serve are full-time professionals. The average Asari Huntress is in the maiden stage of her life and has devoted 20 to 30 years to studying the martial arts. Asari choose to be warriors at a young age, and their education from that point is dedicated to sharpening the mind and body for that sole purpose. When they retire, they possess an alarming proficiency for killing. Huntresses can fight individually or in pairs, depending on the tactics preferred in their town. One-on-one, a huntress is practically unbeatable, possessing profound tactical insight, a hunter's eye, and a dancer's grace. Biotics are common enough that some capacity is a requirement to be trained as a huntress. Lack of biotic talent excludes a young Asari from military service. While fluid and mobile, Asari can't stand stand up in a firestorm the way a Krogan, Turian or human could. Since their units are small and typically lack heavy armor and support weapons, they are almost incapable of fighting a conventional war, particularly one of a defensive nature. So Asari units typically undertake special operation missions. Like an army of ninja, they are adept at ambush, infiltration and assassination, demoralizing and defeating their enemies through intense, focused guerrilla strikes. As a popular Turian saying puts it, the Asari are the finest warriors in the galaxy. Fortunately, there are not many of them. Now let's touch upon Asari religion. The pantheistic mainstream Asari religion is Siari, which translates roughly as all is one. The faithful agree on certain core truths. The universe is a consciousness, every life within it is an aspect of the greater whole, and death is a merging of one's spiritual energy back into the greater universal consciousness. Siaris don't specifically believe in reincarnation. They believe that spiritual energy returned to the universal consciousness upon death will eventually be used to fill a new mortal vessel. Siari became popular after the Asari left their homeworld and discovered their ability to meld with nearly any form of life. This ability is seen as proof that all life is fundamentally similar. Siari priestesses see their role as promoting unity between the disparate shards of the universe's awareness. Before the rise of Siari pantheism, Asari religions were as diverse as their political opinions. The strongest survivor of those days is the monotheistic religion, worshipping the goddess Athame. Like the Asari, the goddess cycles through the triple aspects of maiden, matron, and matriarch. When an Asari says by the goddess, they are referring to Athame. Along with her guides Janiri and Lucian, Athame is credited for helping to bring enlightenment to the ancient Asari, with Janiri teaching them agricultural practices, including seasons, Lucian teaching them about the stars, and Athame teaching them mathematics and medicine. The ancient Asari also believed that Athame protected their homeworld Thessia from attacks by other jealous gods. As revealed in Mass Effect 3, however, in reality, Athame was not a mythical goddess, but a guise crafted by the Protheans. During the height of their empire, the Protheans discovered the Asari and judged that they had potential as leaders for the races of the next cycle against the Reapers. They intervened in Asari development by creating the myth of a goddess, Athame, who was imparting divine gifts and knowledge through her guides, Janiri and Lucian, who were actually Protheans. Among those gifts was the Asari's natural ability to develop biotics, which was in reality the product of years of Prothean genetic research and manipulation. Long after the Protheans departed Thessia to prevent drawing the attention of the Reapers there, the Asari continued to advance with the help of a Prothean beacon and archive that had been left behind. The beacon and archive were both housed in the Temple of Athame and were kept a closely guarded secret by the Asari government. The information the Asari gleaned allowed them to maintain a technological advantage over the rest of the galaxy's races. Finally, let's look at the Asari Homeworld. Thessia is the core of the largest economy in the Milky Way. The planet's reserves of Element Zero are so vast that they affect its price galaxy-wide. Because life on Thessia evolved in an ESO-rich environment, the world is home to a wealth of both biotically active and ESO-resistant species. The Asari are renowned for their cultural and political dominance, and they excel in ambassadorial ventures. They have a strong presence in Citadel politics and galactic policy, and as such will probably play a large role in Mass Effect Andromeda when exploring and colonizing new worlds. So that is everything that we know about the Asari as a race. I hope you guys found this video useful and interesting. I will be back next week again with another Mass Effect lore video, this one probably focusing on the Taurians or the Solarians. If you guys found this video interesting, please hit the like button as always to show your support. Take care guys and girls, and as always, happy gaming.